a new episode of HypnoMum and Ayla. And it's been a long break for us. That's how we do things. But we're here with a killer episode because we have our really dear friend and colleague and really inspirational Barbara Scholl here. And she's gonna talk. We're gonna talk to her about the HypnoKids. So
yes, and we are sitting here courtesy of Jean-Michael Andrews, who lovingly donated his room as a film location.
His executive room.
Yes.
Thank you, Sean.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Yeah, and we are actually filming from the UK Hypnosis Convention. And Jean-Michael Andrews is known as the fastest hypnotist in the world, and he already he already agreed that we can do a podcast with him. So that will follow soon. So let's start because Barbara is actually known to her friends as Baba.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So if you hear us say Baba, that's why. Baba was also presenting on the convention, and I had the joy of seeing that, and it was really inspirational. But maybe first you wanna, we're just gonna talk now. So happy that you're here. Do you want to say anything else about who you are and how you came into contact with hypnosis?
Yeah, maybe just shortly. Thank you for joining us. I feel super happy. And I mean, just a little bit, I think this is always lovely. Ina and Ayla, they're from the Netherlands. I'm from Switzerland. I grew up in Brazil as well and the United States. And I think that's so cool. Hypnosis brings us together, all these different cultures, these different mindsets. And we have a guest entering.
Yeah.
Hello, our guest, our social media manager is here.
Yes.
So we give her a hand.
Yeah.
She brings some water.
Yeah.
So, that was that funny noise.
Yeah.
So I think that's the lovely thing about hypnosis. It unites people. It unites people on a global basis. So I don't want to tell you too much about myself. I have 3 kids. And they grew up with hypnosis. I think that's like the key thing I want to tell you. They're now young adults, and I'm so grateful and I'm so happy that they had the occasion, the chance to grow up with hypnosis. This is due to my brother Hans-Rudi Wipf. He is the successor of Gerald F. Kine, of Jerry Kine.
Yes.
He founded Omni Hypnosis like 40 years ago. Jerry Kine was also the principal student of Dave Ellman. I mean, these are legacies, these guys, right? So my brother actually was the one who worked with our children, right? When he would come visit us, we live very close in Switzerland, and they were still very small, they would be like, they call him Unkeli, that's his nickname. They would say, Unkeli, hypnotize us, right? So, and then, he would make them fly like a bird, or, stuff like that. And I remember our youngest daughter, Anais, she was lying on the sofa, and she like floated like a Swiss cheese from the sofa onto the floor while he was giving her suggestions how relaxed she was. And finally she was like lying on the floor on the carpet. So the suggestibility of children is so high. They're so playful, they're so creative, they're so colorful, their minds. So I'm very, very glad that they did grow up with hypnosis.
So they have a hypno mom as well.
Yes, I guess.
And a hypno uncle.
Yes, very true.
Yeah,
true, actually, yeah.
But you came into contact with hypnosis after Hans?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this, because I'm sure you know Hans, my brother, he's almost like 2 meters, big guy, right? He used to be a bed wetter as a boy.
Oh, are you allowed to say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's official, Hans was a bed wetter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, now it's out.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
And my mom brought him up to the Swiss mountains where there was like a healer, right? Natural healer. And he worked with him twice, and he stopped bedwetting. So my brother came into touch with like informal hypnosis. It was not called hypnosis, but of course it was hypnosis, waking hypnosis, right?
Yeah.
As a young boy. And see, that was like how do you say salmon? Like
It was a trigger.
a seed.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
seed.
yeah.
A seed which was planted at his very young age.
Yeah.
And then for very, very long, the seed was in the soil, and suddenly, boom. Luckily, it popped up.
Yeah.
So I think also if you're listening, for example, as parents to this podcast, I know, or we're sure, I believe most parents, they already do a fantastic job. But if you can consciously even make wiser choices for your children, for the future of your children, I think it's just so valuable if we are conscious about the choices and the words we use, language with our children. So Hans got in touch and with hypnosis, our kids did, and maybe later on I can talk about 3 things how our teenage children mastered difficult situations in their life due to hypnosis.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be nice. Yeah, that's nice. But I'm still curious, like, when did your
Okay,
journey
sorry.
start?
No,
No, that's okay.
Oh,
but I
yes.
think maybe
Yes.
listeners or viewers
Yeah,
are curious about it.
Well, I in 2008, so that's like 13, 14 years ago, I was a school teacher, high school teacher for English. Before I was in the industry, I had studied political science in the US. And I entered a business job, and after so many years I realized I'm not happy. This doesn't fulfill me as a person, you know. They were like, my colleagues were really fun. That's why I stayed so long, because we were young people, we had fun. But suddenly I realized that I myself was not fulfilled. I was not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I noticed I need to work with people. So then I started as a high school teacher for English for teenagers. And for 14 years, I was a teacher, and I loved every minute of it. Still today, I would just, start teaching again. I loved youngsters. And
What do you like about youngsters?
they're unpredictable.
Yeah.
They're crazy. They put like mayonnaise on French fries. They put like
That's
ketchup.
not crazy, right?
Yeah, you're still young, you do that. Ayla still does that, she's a baby. They take ketchup, put it on the spaghetti, and they like don't sleep all night. And they, they do all this crazy stuff. They experiment with food, they experiment with life. And to be there for these youngsters, and when they feel that you love them, that you're interested in them, that you care for them, they open up their heart, and there's such a beautiful connection.
Yeah.
So I think that gives me the kick. So then, Hans started doing all this to answer your question, get back to your question. Hans started then changing his successful career in the automobile industry for Mercedes-Benz. He changed, and he focused on hypnosis only. And then I joined, and I did the hypnosis training. And that's where my fire was lit. Then I knew, okay, this is my future, it's my destination. And I started working as a hypnotherapist. Then I still had both jobs, just to be also financially independent.
Yeah.
And afterwards, business became so intense. I had so many clients with hypnotherapy. I had to decide. I had to let go of one job. And really, with a tearing eye, I let go of my teacher job. And now I'm in the hypnosis business for a very long time. And I'm fulfilled. I found what I was looking for.
And you're again a teacher, actually.
Yes, again, exactly. Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
Oh.
true.
It's nice to hear your story, because I of course I've known you.
I mean, your story is similar.
Yeah, I recognize stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, about the teaching and also about the being passionate about working with young people.
Mm-hmm.
That it's unexpected and. Oh yeah, and we have Sean Michael Andrews coming in.
Come quickly here. Let's give a hand. You have to see this man.
This is Sean
Hello.
Michael Andrews. Oh yeah, we have to scoot a little bit for
Okay.
the So we're gonna do a separate podcast with you, but now you can be introduced to our audience. And you're the fastest hypnotist, right?
Or fattest, I'm not sure.
No,
He's eating chocolate.
It depends on how you spell it. Yeah.
And he's the funniest too. You see,
Oh,
guys.
Yeah.
In my own mind, I am. Well, thank you for introducing me. And
Tell me quickly, where are you from?
Baltimore, Maryland,
Yeah.
USA.
So,
It's a great place to be from.
yeah. And see, again, multicultural. We just unite from like all over the world, and we hang out here in his executive suit. I mean,
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that happens in a podcast where you have people who like unexpected situations.
like
then you get like the fastest hypnotist moving into the screen and out.
And it is lively. That's the way we want to do our podcast. It's
Yeah.
not like something stiff and structured. It's about people, and we
Yeah.
want to show people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have to think where we were. Okay.
because of your own career,
yeah.
you know, the similarity, the
Yeah,
parallels.
yeah.
the
So I
parallels.
recognize what you say about young people and that they're unexpected and spontaneous and
Yeah.
but also or that's what I take from your story, that you like that on the one hand, but you also like to really do something for people.
Yeah.
And that's the connection with the hypnosis, where you can have working with young people and then doing something for people. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, but remember, we were sitting in the lobby yesterday. I had my talk on child and teen hypnotherapy, and afterwards a lady joined us in the lobby, and she had been in my talk, and she's a teacher too. She's a teacher too, now added hypnotherapy to it. She now goes into schools and she teaches youngsters about the mindset. And what she does, she said that she has now about 6-7 former teachers. That's like what they need to be. They need to be former teachers who have a training in hypnosis, and they're now in her team. So now they're like 7 or 8 people going into schools and talk about mindset.
Wow.
So isn't it, we were discussing that
Yeah.
there's so many former teachers who were looking for more fulfillment,
Yeah.
faster change,
Yeah.
and from the bottom, when children and teens are still young,
Yeah.
to implement that mindset.
Yeah.
So that's almost like a phenomenon.
Yeah, and I think hypnosis can be actually useful for teachers. Like, because some people are passionate about teaching in a school, but then these just the knowledge of hypnosis as a teacher can help you help your students better.
Yeah.
That so I think in that way your HypnoKids training can be useful for even a broader audience than just people who are interested in hypnosis.
Introduce your HypnoKids training.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know, I must say Ina and Ayla are here, and first of all, I'd like to give credit to Ina, HypnoMum. She has been in the business for a long time. I consider her very wise. Very wise, very love-worthy, very precious, and she knew, of course, Jerry Kine very well as well. And yes, I further developed the entire HypnoKids training, but the basis, all the material from Jerry Kine, it is Ina who prepared it and added it to the training. So I think first credits go to you, Ina, because you set an important basis.
There was a foundation, but you made a building that is awesome.
Don't underestimate
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you contribute.
Yeah.
Like, because I took the HypnoKids training with Mom before I was a hypnotist.
Oh, true, in Poland.
No,
Was it in Poland?
No.
Oh.
It was I don't know, before I even was a teacher.
Okay.
I just came along one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
I
could
see.
really see the difference when I did the training the first time, and then in 2019, that's a year after I started as a hypnotist, I did the training again, and then your new material was included. Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, it's a different training.
Yeah.
And
Well-
of course, the foundation is strong.
Yeah.
But what you added, and I think that's really why also when we have students who take the training and when they ask us questions about working with children, we always say, if you want to work with children and teens, we really recommend you take the HypnoKids. Because those extra tools, they are.
You know, Ayla, I think this is just super that you mentioned this, because there are all these myths. There are
Yes.
all these
Yeah.
myths about
Yeah.
child and teen hypnotherapy. And I believe one of the myths why people do not enter or do not dare to enter child and teen hypnotherapy is because they're like scared, they don't know what to do, they have no plan, and they're like, oh my God, no, working with children, they're unpredictable. This is crazy, you know, you're like, don't open that box of chocolate, you know, because you never know what you get. But all you need, so this myth, I want to just, you know, pop it like a soap bubble. I just want to pop it, because if you have no clue, you have no plan, yeah, then anything is difficult. I mean, if you don't have a recipe for a dish, let's say an Indian dish you want to cook, you have all the ingredients on the table and you're like, now cook this, whatever, you know, you have no clue, you have no plan. So all it needs is a recipe, a plan, flowcharts, processes. And I think that's one of the big myths. And so I'm glad we can talk about myths, because is it the same thing for you guys in the Netherlands? People, families are desperately looking for help for their children.
Yeah, and it's getting worse and worse, because now we have a helpline, and so many teens, it's increasing. They have problems with stress and everything. The society is getting more complex, a lot of demands on people, a lot of diversions. There's not the moments of peace and quiet I remember
the
from
simple life.
The simple life
we used to have.
where I sit next to a pond. I don't have an iPad. I'm staring at fishes, but it brings peace and calmness into me.
Absolutely.
And how can our children from nowadays learn that kinds of stuff?
Yeah. Also, what we hear from our therapists that take our training and that already work with young people, that the severity of the issues that they come in with are more intense than it was like even 3 years before. So more suicidal problems, more eating disorders, like more depression, like more heavy stuff.
Yeah, or self-mutilation.
Yes,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a real need, and also and what you also told in your presentation, that like you're overflowing with clients.
Yes.
You don't have enough time in a day to work with everybody that comes to you. So there's a real need for HypnoKids therapists.
And let's just look at another myth. Some people think, or the naysayers out there say, oh, you cannot earn good money with kids and teens hypnotherapy. But I tell you, I charge very decent prices. I'm in Zurich, prices are already a bit higher. Plus, I'm not paid for time, I'm paid for results. So I ask nice prices. I'm not being, you know, I don't rip them off, but I have strong, good, solid prices. And never, ever, my prices are an issue. Never. They're just so happy to pay because I'm there to help. So that myth that you cannot make good money with child and teen hypnotherapy, I mean, that's just another bubble which just pop right here. On the contrary, you know, the interesting thing actually is, once you help one child, one kid in the family, they will bring you the next kid and the next kid, right? And then these parents actually, very often it's moms, right? I would say 80% of the people who bring in the kids are moms. Then they suddenly realize, oh my God, I have all this luggage in my own suitcase, in my backpack. I would like to have a hypnotherapy. Do you also work with adults? And of course, I also work with adults. So, I mean, I don't even need to market my therapies. I'm just, you know, they run into my office. So many people, many hypnotherapists have a hard time getting therapies, earning money. And I tell you, it's just the easiest way entering the market with child and teen hypnotherapy.
And I also like what you said in your presentation yesterday, like if you work with adult clients, they are not gonna, and you help them get rid of a problem, they're not gonna shout it off the roofs like, yeah, I got rid of my depression, but whereas with the children, the parents are proud, and we went to this hypnotist and it 1-2 sessions and it was gone. And I recognize that as well, that I sometimes work with a child client and then I get the brother or the sister, and then parent. I have worked with entire families.
Yes.
You don't have to do marketing.
Yeah.
But there was another myth that you shared in your presentation that I really loved, because even though I'm already working
Yes.
with children, I'm not a mother.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So I had this, still that voice that was like, yeah, maybe I'm not the best child therapist because I'm not a mom. And I, I
Wow.
missed that background.
Yeah. You know, I'm learning from you because I know, so I must talk about this myth
Yeah.
more and really also pop that bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, my brother Hans, right? He's so funny. He has no children. And he cracks these youngsters up. You're so charming. You have a lot of humor as well. I mean, when Ayla enters the room, the sun goes up, right? I mean, she's just like, hello, sunshine. You know, I mean, jeans, right? I mean, her mom is, But absolutely. I have, as a matter of fact, I have a lawyer. She trained with me. She's a lawyer, state lawyer. I don't know what to call it. State attorney. And she's very good. She's, I don't know, about 32 years old. She trained with Omni and then she trained with HypnoKids. And she has no children of her own. She, however, grew up with like 4 sisters. So she grew up with sisters. And, I mean, she was a kid one day. So she knows what it feels like to be a kid. And she now works, besides her very prestigious job as a state attorney, she works 30% with children and only children. And let me tell you, she goes bananas. She buys all that pink glitter. She like draws up these photoshops things of Harry Potter and she goes bananas. So I believe she even finds fulfillment to sort of compensate that side which she doesn't have in her life yet or will maybe never have in her life.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. No prerequisite to be a parent.
Well, good to know. I'm even more reassured than I was yesterday now. Yeah.
Yeah, and Baba, you spoke about very intense experiences with your own children with regards to hypnosis. I think they are so valuable to share.
Yeah, okay, let me talk about the most recent. My son, Maxime, who is now 21 years old, he served in the Swiss Army for 2 years. He continued because on a voluntary basis, so he became an officer. And he really liked it a lot. He's very athletic, he likes to perform, he's a very good team player, he's a nice guy. And they also train how to handle explosives. And he was training his recruits up in the Alps in a wide open field for the military, and he showed how to handle explosives. They had to blow up a door to enter a building. And it was raining. So when it's raining, they put grease on top of the explosive. They stick it to the door, okay, and then they make it explode. Now, he was using gloves, took off one glove to put the grease, and then he did not put his hand back into the glove because he was like, oh, I don't want to make my glove dirty. So then he had the correct distance, as everything perfect, and he made that explosive go off. At that very instant, totally unpredictable, a huge wind blow, a really, really strong wind blow came, and the flames of the explosion covered him totally. I have a video, I saw it, I don't have the video, but I saw it. He was completely covered with fire. And luckily he had a pillar in front of his face, so it didn't burn his face. However, his right hand, was like totally burned. He was taken to the hospital. While he was in the Jeep, which took him to the hospital, he called me. He's like, Mom, I'm well, there was an accident. I'm burned, my hand, can you please do hypnosis with me? And since he was traveling and going to hospital, I said, listen, I immediately record self-hypnosis with all the suggestions for your cells, for the healing, for emergency hypnosis. I'll record it and you listen to it as soon as you arrive at the hospital. And he did. And every day he listened to that tape like 1, 2, 3 times, right? That's like 12, 13 minutes, that recording. And I have the healing, I have it documented with photos. It was amazing. Not only was his healing really fast and really well, and the healing of the skin, but also he was like, he got this sense of control. Yeah. He was not just a victim and couldn't do anything. Yeah. It empowered him. Yeah. And this, I think, is just the fruit of having grown up with hypnosis.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it, you know, that the children growing up knowing about hypnosis, knowing, hey, I'm in a situation, I can do something. Like if you're in an ambulance, you can think, okay, I have to wait, I have to see what the doctors do. But instead you can think, hey, what can I do right now? Even though I cannot move or other people are now taking care of my health, what can I do with my mind? That's amazing. What did the doctors think?
I think they were very impressed. He was very calm. And I think also the people in the military, you know, because afterwards they left, you know, and he had to go exchange they did that in the military afterwards. They took care of him. But I think the military people were impressed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because
like how calm he was.
And his colleagues. Yeah, and how he did the hypnosis,
I also, actually, that's funny. The first person I taught self-hypnosis, I got a feedback, and I was so nervous doing that, you know. But I got a feedback a year later because she had apparently, I don't know, some medical issue that required her to be taken in an ambulance to the hospital. Yeah. And apparently the self-hypnosis helped her to stay calm. She just used the self-hypnosis. And it's so simple. It's a technique of a half an hour, and you can just, it's so easy to teach it to people, so, wow.
I believe you also have, don't you have recordings on your page, on your website, don't you have self-hypnosis?
Yes, we have a community, the hypnosis community, where people can listen freely to audios.
How do you join that? How can people join?
You go to hypnosiscommunity.nl and you can register freely. And for Dutch people it is Hypnose Community. So the first one is Dutch, the second word is English.nl again.
Okay. But we will add it also to the links. We will add links, super. So we will also add the link to your website.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else we can put there?
Yeah. No, it's I think that's okay. My website, and then I think people who are curious and care. I mean, then you just find your way. You'll find us, right?
Yes.
The people who want to find us.
Yeah.
I think to conclude, it would be very nice if you give a little bit description of the special techniques that you bring into HypnoKids, because this is really not an ordinary kids training.
No,
it is so special.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I think one thing which is special, that now we have tools and an entire plan how to start working with children already at the age of 4 years old. I mean, isn't this amazing? 4 years old. And with very young kids, so we have the youngsters, we have like primary school kids and the teenagers. I would say there's like these 3 groups. And with the very, very small children, they cannot close their eyes on themselves for a real long time. So we use waking hypnosis, direct suggestion, storytelling, compounding. And I created that inner golden center. It's like the subconscious mind. They make a journey inside their body. And I think that gives a feeling of belonging. Also the idea of everything is already within a child. This is a seed which is planted, which is just very beautiful. So that's the small kid stuff. Now, kids from about the age 7 till like 10 or so, 10, 11, then they go in, we use formal hypnosis to put them in the state of hypnosis. They love it. I mean, children in hypnosis, let me tell you, they love. I mean, It's just
It's
so-
not like going to therapy.
no.
Right? It's
Exactly.
like, this is fun.
Yeah, this is like cool. Right?
Yeah.
So, and then we use techniques like also direct suggestions, compounding, and very cool tools. So for bullying, for math problems, for bedwetting, for fears and phobias, when parents get divorced, or sibling rivalry, all these things, or misophonia, and oh my God,
Yeah.
it's just huge. And that's, Ayla, what you just said beautifully before. We don't do that traditional cognitive like therapy where they need to talk about their problem, and every week they need to discuss their problem and tell what's not going well. No, I welcome them at the door,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, whoa, it's like a fresh breeze. I take them in, and they forget that they are in a therapy setting. We do gummy bear twists. I explain how their mind works, what we're going to do, and this is so dynamic. Not seldomly, I have children who hug me after the session. They hug me and they're like, can I come back tomorrow? You know?
Yeah.
And I want to say that you brought the imagination on a whole new level in your work.
Mm-hmm.
So the therapies that you are using, the ultra height, ultra healing for kids,
Regression for kids also.
the regression, the way they make this mysterious journey
Yeah.
into themselves. It is really a new level of working.
Yeah, and also what is maybe the most important, the pre-talk, the rapport.
Yeah, rapport, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so easy.
Yeah, so
So much fun, right?
Yeah.
It's so, yeah.
yeah. Do you think it takes a little bit of courage to become a HypnoKids therapist? In that way that, like, of course, like the training offers, and that's what I really like, it offers also that protocol. And at the same time, you need to be, that's at least my experience, a little bit open for the unexpected.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure the people who listen to this, I'm sure some of you have like now this sparkling, or like what is it? Or like bubbles, or something in your belly or in your heart. People who are talented for this feel it. They have that fire.
Okay.
So I know these people listening to this, they know that they've got talent.
So the people who are listening, who are feeling something bubbling in their body, they know, okay, this is for me.
Yeah.
And what you can decide, I always say.
Yeah.
So some people, they do not feel geared towards working with small children.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah, then you
Ina.
can work with teens,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Yes.
You can take your age group that you feel comfortable with.
Nice input.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe just a short word also in regard to regression. As soon as a kid is cognitively old enough, or can cognitively follow the process, we always use uncovering cause-oriented regression hypnosis, because it's just so efficient. It's
effective, very effective.
And I'm curious, and I'm sure people listening are also curious.
Yeah.
What age would that be? Because maybe a mom is listening and is
Yeah.
thinking like, this would be something for my son or my daughter.
Yeah.
What age is like?
Yeah. Well, the cognitive development of a child can. There's Remo Largo. He died now, but he was one of the biggest, wisest child doctors and development specialists in Switzerland. I learned a lot from him. I read his books, and he says that the development from child to child can differ from 1 to 3 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I experienced that in the same way. Sometimes children are ready already at 9 to do regression, and some they're only ready at 11 years of age. So
Could it also be younger?
Yeah.
no, well, it's
I have results with much younger
Really?
children.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good results from 8, sometimes 7.
okay.
Because you can have children who are so wise for their age.
Yeah.
But you have to check them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I once did with a six-year-old, and it was a great
Yeah.
result.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've also experienced that with young people doesn't seem to.
Yeah. Maybe also for the listeners, if you're interested, we can also put a link, because I also developed a parts therapy protocol. It's called EMMA.
Oh yeah.
And that's maybe a giveaway. If you're like a hypnotherapist and you would like to enter it, don't use it as a parent just like that. This is really for hypnotherapists. That's like a standalone giveaway I can offer, because the entire program, it's a 3-day training. And it's an entire therapy landscape with all these tools and processes. So, however, this tool, the parts therapy protocol, it's an 8-page protocol for hypnotherapists, is a way how you can start working with children. And that also, you can start using it with like 6 years old, but you can also use it with a 12-year-old. So that's sort of a chameleon tool.
Yeah.
And maybe that can motivate some of the people who are listening now, who are already in the hypnotherapy business, to really consider entering child and teen hypnotherapy.
And there's one more thing that I want to say, because I'm thinking about that, right? Like, what technique to apply, and sometimes you're a little bit unsure. And you shared yesterday a story that if I don't know, I just ask the kid.
Oh yes.
And I think that was
so easy.
That is so nice about the child hypnosis, that you can just ask the kid.
Yeah. I tell that really to people, and that's another myth, right? Like, if you don't, for example, you're at some part of the process in hypnotherapy, and you're like, okay, what shall we do now? Just ask the kid. It gives you time for like a few seconds to think, and in the meantime, the kid, this is like, they are so bubbly, they're so creative. So you can say, well, Jeremy, what could we do? What could we do in this moment? And they give you such creative ideas. And many of my tools, as a matter of fact, is stuff the kids told me. And I'm like, this is too cool. Wow, And then I introduced these tools into the program. And the lovely thing is, this is an intrinsic solution.
Yeah.
And anything that is intrinsic
is
is
always
efficient.
better.
Yeah, and then you can give, that's what you also said, you can also use that as a positive suggestion, like, you did this.
Yeah, credit.
Yeah.
It's not me,
Yeah.
it's you.
Yeah.
And that's, for a child, it's like, oh, I did it. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm able to find solutions myself. How?
That's so empowering.
Yeah, for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
How
that's
many
true.
grown-ups walk around thinking about their problem, I cannot do anything?
Let me ask you, Ayla, you grew up with hypnosis.
Yeah.
And your mom, taught you, she gave you so many presents.
Yeah.
For your life. She handed on to you without, I'm sure you were not conscious that she was doing that stuff. It was just like she was feeding you, like milk. She was feeding you that stuff.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that I went into hypnosis with my mom very often when I was younger. But I had misconceptions about it.
Yeah.
So I was expecting, if I go into hypnosis, that I'm in a 4-dimensional movie where, I know that I'm gone, and I see things, and I smell things, and I hear things. And because I didn't have that experience at the time, I thought, I'm not in hypnosis, EI doesn't work. And now afterwards I can really see, because sometimes it's we talked about it, right? It's such a subtle change. Mm-hmm. But I think looking back at it, there were some sessions that have changed the way I make decisions in life. Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's, one therapist told me, it's like you have a river and you change a stone in the river, and it changes the flow of the river. Yes. But when you change that stone, you don't notice it right away, but it just it changes the trajectory of the river. So I'm very grateful in that sense.
Barbara, you are so knowledgeable, so people can follow the HypnoKids training in Switzerland live, and sometimes outside of Switzerland they can follow the Dutch.
But in Switzerland it would be in German, right?
In Switzerland, yeah.
They can follow it in the Netherlands in Dutch, and once we have enough English people, we could consider organizing a training with you in English together with us. That would be awesome.
Maybe we should start a wait list.
Yeah, yeah,
That we see if we have enough students that we invite you to the.
And for the time being, also people from farther away, they can follow the online in English.
Yes.
So we'll put the resources under the video.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
You know, I would also like to address all the female listeners. You know, I grew up in Brazil, and I know sometimes life is quite harsh, challenging. Sometimes there are mothers who have to bring up the children on their own. They have financial challenges, difficult financial times. And I think the three of us, we're also a little bit girl power. We love female careers. We love men, absolutely. I mean, they're lovely, the men, right? However, I think the three of us, we really love to empower women. And even if you don't have if you're listening to us now, you don't have a university degree, but you're just, you're intelligent, you have a normal IQ, that's all you need. Normal IQ, a good heart, some sense of humor, and also be a hard worker, of course. You have to work for something. And I would like to encourage you, check out Child and Teen Hypnotherapy. You can make such good money with little investment. You don't need to do all this stuff and years of training and expensive training. The Omni Hypnosis training is an 8-day training, okay? They are instructors. In Holland, there's worldwide, you can learn Omni Hypnosis, also online in English, and then you can add Child and Teen Hypnotherapy. I encourage all the female listeners, take your life into control, take it in your hand. You have everything you need. If we can do it, you can do it.
Yes, for
it's
sure.
It's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's passion.
Yeah.
And for the male listeners, it's self-evident that they can follow as well.
Yes.
And they are mostly welcome.
Yes,
Yes.
that I want to include also
yeah.
because you shared that yesterday, and
Yes.
I love that. We need more male role models for boys.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there still is this balance. We need a better balanced world, and that is your call.
Absolutely.
But in children hypnosis, it's the opposite. There we need also an opposite balance.
Absolutely.
More men.
Yeah.
Because I used to be a teacher, right? And there's a lot of female teachers, and that's okay. That's okay. However, especially children growing up in households where the parents separated and the father is maybe not so around a lot, sometimes these children lack also the male part. And in school, they're all female. So I'm always so grateful to have male therapists as well, because we need male role models. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think.
It was a wonderful interview.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, Barbara.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, everybody.
Yay! I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sean
Bye-bye.
Michael Andrews.
Yeah, Sean Michael Andrews.
Enjoy. Kisses.
Yeah. I like his. He's laughing.